And we're recording, everybody. Welcome to another outstanding webinar with Hatch Coaching. My name's Erik Hatch, and it's my privilege to be with you today and pretty much on all these webinars. And this is going to be a good one. Some of you are watching live, some of you are watching the replay, but those of you that are watching live, please throw us your questions. Let us know inquiries that you have, and we want to do our best to answer things live. We want it to be a conversation and not just a presentation. To give you a little scope, Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching are the two gigs that I spend some time with. Hatch Realty, we're on pace to sell over 1,300 homes this year. It's obviously early in the year, but whoa, it has been a ride. Hatch Coaching gets to influence and impact some of the top teams and sales agents around the country. And somebody who I am so proud of is the man joining us on this call, Mr. Tyler Lindell. Tyler, we're going to talk about lots of details about you before we really dive into our topic here. But Tyler, you've been a part of Hatch Realty now for how long?
6 years.
Has it been 6 years already?
Yeah, you don't know? Well, that's okay though. Yeah, it's since 2015. So.
Oh my gosh. Tyler is our top selling agent, and he is so hardworking, extremely likable, devilishly handsome, like a triple threat, really. Tyler, walk us through what it is that you currently do at Hatch Realty, and then rewind the clock back and what have you done? Because you've worn a lot of different hats as you've grown up in our eyes.
Yeah, so currently I am a team lead. Our team just grew to 7. So currently I'm leading a team of a showing partner, another buyer's agent, and then we have 4. And I count Carrie, my TC, as a group of 7. So, but I'm leading a team of 7 right now. Prior to that, I was a buyer's agent before the team lead. I was that for about 3 years, and then I was a showing partner prior to that with a buyer's agent. So knowing the steps to become a buyer's agent or possibly a team lead is something I can identify with, and something that I know takes time, but with where I am right now, I couldn't be happier in my life. And yeah, it's been quite the ride. So
Tyler, you're how old?
30.
30. Okay. Love that accent, Tyler, from Montana, and she feels at home. So I guess your Midwestern accent is showing already. You're from almost Canada, Tyler, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Grafton, which is like an hour away from Canada, I would say. So
yeah. So Tyler is hands down, bar none, the best salesperson we have on our team. The guy works exceedingly hard. Tyler, last year, not your team, because and gang, understand, Hatch Realty functions as a team, right? We're a teamridge. We're not a brokerage, we're a teamridge. But what we've done is we've really modified our model in the last year or so, and we've created these mini teams. It was Tyler with a showing partner, and now Tyler is a team of 7 and has evolved his leadership and capacity. But it is imperative that people understand, Tyler, how much butt you actually kick. So your first year as an agent, you started as a showing partner, which is the best baptism into education and understanding what it is you need to know. Your first year as a buyer agent, what kind of production did you do?
As a buyer's agent?
Yeah, your first year.
It was like 48 deals my first year.
Yeah, let's just pause for a moment there, because most people dream of selling 48 homes in a year, and you sold 48 homes in your first year. Fast forward to what? Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. It was. I know it's 48 because I remember Cole was right behind me. Now, I just think Cole's a coworker that him and I started at the same time, and we challenge each other every year. So.
Yeah. Well, last year you had your biggest year yet. How many transactions did you close last year?
Closed? I know it was pended. Pended closed was like 140 something, but I don't know closed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You closed 123 homes last year. And now I think pended and closed that you have on the books for this year, you're already at like 50 deals, aren't you, Tyler?
It's closer to 60 right now.
Oh my gosh. And now it's, as we record this, gang, it is March 9th, 2021. And Tyler, you're doing unbelievable things. you're getting a lot of this business from the company, from ISA set appointments that you're closing, but you are also generating more business for yourself than we can generate for you, which is your rocket ship to success. Not only are you our top converter of our company deals, but you've somehow mastered this sphere game on a really high level. And so what's your sphere goal for this year, Tyler? Deals that you actually bring to the table.
My sphere goal, I would like to hit 75 to 80 sphere this year.
Mm-hmm. And you did about 60 to 70 last year, right? Half your deals were company, yeah. Half your deals were sphere.
Mm-hmm. I know I'm at around 30-ish right now, 35 or something like that. So
again, it's March 9th. We are literally 68 or 69 or 70 days into this year, and you're running at a crazy pace. In fact, just last week you put 7 deals on the board, Tyler. The question people are asking right now is how are you running on this? Because we're going to get to the topic. The topic that we're diving into today, gang, is we're going to talk about how to get at least 20 extra referral and sphere deals in a calendar year. And Tyler has mastered that. But how are you doing this kind of production right now? How does this even function for somebody?
I realized that when I don't want to be in real estate for the rest of my life. I want to do it because I have a goal of what I need to accomplish, and I just started prioritizing everything from the top down. By far, the most important things in my life are God and my wife, and then after that, it's my family. But then the hardest part was prioritizing the friendships and clients, and I realized that I can intermix them. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of clients that become friends, which again turns into sphere because I get referrals from that. But I had to intermix that. So I basically have 2 to 3 super close relationships, friendships. And besides that, I have a lot of buy-in from the other people who maybe I don't see as much as I want to or should, but they know what I'm trying to do, and they've joined with me. And if I can't hang out with them, they know I'm busy. They know what I'm trying to do. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You and your wife Kylie don't have kids yet. Certainly, you see a future where you're not going to be working the 70 to 100 hours a week that you're doing right now, mm-hmm. right?
Yep.
And so everything has a season. In fact, Tyler, you have a background in ministry and in education, 2 things that are very close to me. My wife is an educator. My background is in ministry. And so you and I have been kind of 2 peas in a pod from moment one. Just like I think we get each other. We get the hustle. We get the reason why we're doing it. And it's to make a big impact in the world. And man, I don't know if I tell you this enough, dude, but I'm just so proud of you. For what you're doing and the impact you're making. It matters, and it matters a lot.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, no, a lot of it stemmed from the leadership at Hatch, so it's kudos to all that and being ingrained in the culture. So
yeah, well, it's been a fun ride so far, and right now you have the goal of your team, your own mini team, doing 300 transactions this year.
Yeah, we think we can do more than that. Every week we go up to the board and I'm like, hey, this is where we're at right now. What do we need to do for this coming week, day, weeks, months to make sure that we're hitting these goals? And each month we've been just getting in front of it. So each month, even though we're ahead of our goal, we press the reset button. By the looks of it, I think we could end closer to 320, 330 if our sphere keeps bouncing the way it is and we keep converting open houses. And we set some crazy expectations for conversions, which is something from the top down with ISA deals. And we want our conversion for our team to be around 35 to 40%, which is super high. But
me too.
I think, yeah, but I think we're close to that. And the buy-in is from our whole team to be not only the team that we know we can be, but we want to help lead the organization at Hatch Realty. And I would like every single person on the team that I have right now to have their own team in years to come. And by that time, I'm probably out of the picture or who knows what's happening. But if I can plant those seeds and help them now, I know they're going to help people down the road. So that's kind of the intention with it.
If any of you have teams right now, you're probably coveting having a team member like Tyler. And I'll tell you, this is not the topic that we're covering, but it's at least a question worth asking. Tyler, you're obviously obscenely talented, super gritty, super driven, and you're bringing in a ton of deals from your sphere. Why do you choose to stay with us instead of going out on your own?
I've been asked that. I probably get asked that or emails from different people probably every week from other brokerages about why I am and what I'm doing and why I'm staying at Hatch Realty. And it's all because I trust in the system, and I know I've been able to create friendships here that, I mean, have benefited me not only in real estate, but as an individual, and learning from them of what they're doing, and getting the right people on the bus is something I trust our leadership in doing, to getting people here that I know that are going to impact me, and vice versa. I can do the same for them. So I'm staying here because I know what I can do for, I mean, eventually when I'm out of here or when I'm somewhere else, not at Hatch Realty. And I'll never be in real estate once I'm not at Hatch Realty. I know I'll be doing something else, but I want to leave that world a better place and those individuals. And I don't think I can, I know I can have a bigger impact on the stage that I have at Hatch Realty than I could on an individual base at maybe, I mean, a normal brokerage. So.
Yeah, I think that, so this is from my perspective, Tyler, but correct me if I'm wrong. You have big, audacious dreams and goals in this life. And my goal is to help you reach your goal. And I think you and I both recognize that we're going to be better together than we are apart. And so my goal is literally, Tyler's got to hit his goal. Tyler's got to get to where he wants for time, for money, for lifestyle, for all those things. Now we've maturated it, and now we've taken on leadership and responsibility as a part of your ecosystem, right? And that's that, like, next phase is like, you figured out how to sell a ton of houses, but now how do you have a life that is success through others? And we're doing that for you and with you. And I think that that's going to be one of those pieces to the cog that keeps you around. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're exactly right. I know what I was buying into at Hatch Realty, and I know that the same dream you have for me and aspirations to, I'm thinking huge. I mean, I'm thinking as big as I possibly can, and I'm telling every single person on my team to do the same. Yeah. And I lead by example with that, where the minute I get stuck in a rut or the minute I'm having a down day, I got to get out of my head, and I press the reset button continuously I'm not only leading for my family at Hatch Realty, but the fact that I have these other 6 members, I have to show them that these dreams are obtainable. And the 2 people that joined us, the 2 team agents, I mean, one of them has been getting leads for 2 months, and he already has 7 or 8 pending deals in 2 months. This is his first year in real estate.
No, this is his first 2 months in real estate.
First 2 months in real estate.
Yeah.
And he's buying into it too, where he knows when I talk to him, like, hey, Eli, this is amazing. Like, you're going to be doing this. He's like, I know, but I got to keep going. I got to keep trusting in the system. I'm ingrained in it. I'm trusting what you're leading with. And I'm like, that's why I know what I'm doing is working. And it's not because of me. It's what is coming top down from everyone else at Hatch. So.
Well, pretty special what you're doing, Tyler. And one of the questions I know is burning from people is, we had said you're doing between 60 and 80 sphere deals a year. And the dive that we're doing right now is we're going to talk about referral groups as one of the ways in which you grow a plethora of business. And so I want to rewind the clock back to when you first started your referral group. Why did you start it? How long did you think it was going to take? How did you start it? Like give us a step-by-step, because I want people to take some active notes to say, these are the 5 things or 10 things I can do to start achieving what Tyler's achieving. And I will tell you this before you go in, Tyler. One of the reasons why you're successful is because you are relentless and likable. People, the likability piece is something you can't copy. And the relentless piece is something that you either have or you don't. I think that you can, oftentimes you look for outside or external motivation. You are internally motivated, Tyler. And those are the things that you can't teach hungry. And so I'll give that framework, is that if you're expecting the same results, but you're not relentless like Tyler and you're not likable like Tyler, you won't get there. So with that, I want to hand it over to you.
Yeah. So you just want me to elaborate on like the networking group, right? And how it started, where we're at now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I noticed in my second year specifically, I noticed that there was some
2016.
This was 2016. Yeah, there were some BNI groups, which is another networking group. There were some master network platforms, which is another networking platform that people were using. And one of the biggest heartaches for a business owner that I was seeing is they were having to spend $100 to $150 a month sometimes to be a part of this group. And I would look at the material, and I'm someone who, and I get it from my mom, which I love, that is like, my mom's someone who would bring a receipt to a like a secondhand thrift store, and not a receipt, a discount slip, to like get a percentage off. So like shedding pennies, all that stuff is something that I knew I had to do my first year in real estate, second year. And with the networking group, I want to know, what am I spending money on? Is it the education? Am I actually going to get referrals? And what's the baseline that I'm going to get from this for that? So I want to know how much money I'm putting in. What am I going to get back? And I had to change my mindset really quickly with that. Is it's not what I can get back. It's what can I give that's not a financial give to someone. So the networking group was something I loved, and I jumped in because I'm like, I'm not going to think of how much I'm going to get back from the amount of money I'm putting in. I want to give and help people accomplish these different things with, whether it's a plumber, a mechanic, a painter, a loan officer, you go down the list, and that's something I could talk about too towards the end, but a lot of different members, and how can I help them achieve their goals for their families, for where they're at. And I realized that I was able to give a lot, but what the education piece wasn't something is what I wanted to feed on, because I wanted to also I wanted a business development plan when I left, of what I could bring back to my team, what I could show them when I'm gone for an hour. Does that hour make sense for me to be gone? Or because during that networking time, it can get really chaotic if you're not taking something away. So I was giving. And I realized that I wasn't getting anything education wise or business development wise. So I asked, hey, for this group, I would like to lead the training tidbits with my ministry background, with my camp background, with my education background. I think I could really formulate a plan that could help people, whether it's different platforms you can use or different like one-on-one conversations you can have with people. So I started leading that. And then we realized as much as I loved what we were getting from this master networking platform, we were spending way too much money. For some people, it was almost $1,500 a year, which
So let me pause here, Tyler, because I want to make sure I'm understanding this so far. In 2016, you saw an opportunity to engage in a networking group. You were in an environment where you felt like the amount of money you were giving and the amount of time you were giving, you weren't seeing a return from, right? And so you pivoted and you said, hey, I want to be a contributor. And you recognized that the value that you were going to get was only on the other side of what you first gave. And so you didn't sign up to be the average Joe participant. You quickly started raising your hand saying, I want to be one of the key people, if not the key person. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. So keep going.
Yep. Yeah. And so once we realized that, hey, we can do this without paying money, we branched off, and there was 4 of us who did our own thing. And it was people who I knew would be a really good base for the group. So we started figuring out, hey, we need some type of leadership group. And I was slowly realizing that I was going to be the one who's going to have to take on almost every single job. I was the vice president, the president, the training person. I was the guy showing up at 6 a.m. to get the coffee ready, because I wanted to make sure that the music was ready for when the group came at 7:45. The chairs are like, I was doing everything, which again, I knew I could make this group very successful, because I was going to make sure everything was as informal or as formal as people wanted it to be when they showed up to the group. If someone was new, it was going to be one of the best meetings, because I was going to take it upon myself to make sure that they were listened to and that I heard what they wanted for their business and how I could help them. So
you put this group on your back from moment one. I mean, once you went independent, you said, I got to be all in on this, and I'm going to have to be that key person.
Yeah, I think other people probably could have taken it, but I knew I was going to be. I had a little bit more free time where I knew I'd be able to show up, and I wanted to. I knew how I felt the first time I've been to when I went to a new meeting, and it felt really kind of gross and salesy. That it was, if you want to join this group, we need to know how many referrals you can give to this group. And I'm like, man, I just can't get on board with that. I don't like that. And instead, it quickly turned into something where we started attracting these unique people, and I wasn't going after specific.
Industries.
Industries, but I mean, I was going after people, and it's something that I learned from Hatch Realty that you can, like, if I get the right person here, and we have, I mean, and now I'm at the point where the group that we have, I think, is by far one of the best in I don't want to say the United States, but I know that we have some crazy people who we don't pay any money to be a part of our group. The one thing you do pay at this point is the value that you bring to the group. And I don't want to say it's referrals. It's not even the business development. It's how are you as a human being value? Like, are you a moralistic, genuine human being? Are you doing the things that you should be doing? And we keep each other accountable to that. So jumping back to where I was before is, well, once that group started going, we started attracting people. And over the last 3 years since that's been going, we are at 24 members now. We have a space that's unbelievable. And we don't pay for the space. We typically don't pay for coffee, and we don't pay for leadership. No one pays to be part of the group. The only thing that we will not have anyone be a part of our group that is showing up 15 minutes late, doesn't find it valuable, because we don't want to waste their time, and we don't want the members that are there to feel like they're not valued. So.
All right. So let's pump the brakes just a little bit. Obviously, this networking group, this referral group, I think we can interchange that language. You've been really intentional on how you customize it with the people that are in the room, and it isn't necessarily industry wide, but you are finding people of the right character before the right industry. Yes?
Yeah.
Will you allow 2 mortgage lenders in the group, or is it like, no, it's only 1 per industry?
I mean, it's hard because we would, but I don't think that's what the other loan officers would want. I've actually helped 3 other networking groups in town get started by referring those people to a group that I think would help them succeed.
Okay.
And that's been a huge thing too, where we want them to be a part of our group, but we also know that I don't want them to feel like they're stepping on anyone's toes. So if we just have one person from that industry, I mean, I could get really selfish, but I've had another realtor that's come to the group a couple of times, and I honestly want this guy to join the group, but he doesn't want to because he thinks that he's stepping on my toes, and I've told him he isn't, but I've helped him since then join another group. So.
Wow. That's big of you. That speaks of your character for sure, Tyler, that you're not scarcity mindset focused on that. So when do you meet with this referral group?
So we meet at 8 a.m. every single Thursday.
Okay. And how long does the meeting traditionally last?
Meeting lasts exactly an hour. So that's one thing I've been very diligent on is 8 to 9. The minute 9 o'clock hits, I know a lot of people have meetings that follow. And if you want to stay past the network and hang out with people, you can do that until 9:30 in that room. But once 9 a.m. hits and people have to get up and leave, there's no judgment. But once 8 a.m. hits, prior to the meeting, if you're not sitting down or if you're not in the room, we actually lock the door and you can't come in the room. You have to go down to the coffee shop and Zoom. So that's been, and it's to protect the members who are there on time. Because if we want to be a hard start at 9, we cannot have a hard start that's not 8 a.m. So.
What does a typical agenda look like for one of these network or referral groups?
Yeah. So I typed that up right here before we started.
Responsible of you.
Very responsible. So I always have a 5-minute intro where during that intro, I'll lay the ground for what members and guests, because typically we'll have 2 to 3 guests a week, can expect from the meeting. We're going to have a 20-minute moment where we're going to have every person in the group, every member in the group is going to have 30 seconds. And we'll go around clockwise to talk about what would be a good referral for them this week. So you do that for 20 minutes. And we almost always take up that full 20 minutes.
So Tyler, what's a good referral for you then? And when it's your turn, what do you ask for?
So typically I'll be the last one to stand up because I'll segue into the next part. But what I'll say is, hey, hello, Tyler Lindell with Hatch Realty. A good referral for me this week would be someone who is selling a condo or a townhome in the West Fargo area. Right now, West Fargo is completely bumping. We have seen an increase in what people, even from the past 2 to 3 months, what people bought at, what they could sell at now. And I'm not kidding about 2 to 3 months. That's a real thing. And Yeah. So if you know anyone that needs to sell a condo or townhome that's bought in the past yearish, let me know. I would love to help them out and show them that they could show them numbers of what we could sell their place at and potentially net them. And that's it. And then we actually have a ding that goes off from one of our other leaders. And at that ding, you have to stop. You can't go on. So,
yeah. Okay. And so the person who owns a cleaning company is bringing up, all right, I'm looking for 2 new clients this week, and right, they're naming specifics, and okay.
Yep. So if you're a cleaning company, they'll say, if you know any apartment complexes, let them know. If you know anyone higher up in an apartment complex, if you know any people who own rentals that need a place, please give them my business card, do a group chat between me and them and you, so that you can create an easy transition to it.
So are people actively taking notes as this is going, or are they just casually sitting back?
Nope. During the 5-minute intro, we actually have another one of our leaders. We have 4 leaders, and one of the leaders who is focused on membership, she will actually have a sheet that says who's doing the soundbite, some type of quote at the top of this piece of paper, and who's doing the showcase, which I'll get into after, which is what we do after the soundbites. And then on the bottom, it says note taking. And I encourage people to take active notes. The best way to be impactful in the group and, give a referral to someone is to remember who they are and what they were able to do. And then you can follow up with them even after the group's done. So after the meeting.
Awesome. So you spend 20 or so minutes doing those 30-second little hot seats of people saying, this is the kind of referral that I'm looking for. What's next?
After the 20 minutes, we lead into a 10-minute showcase. So for this next week, we have an inspector, and that inspector is going to have 10 minutes and 10 minutes only. And you get to do this twice a year because of how many members we have. You can only go twice a year. So if you miss the showcase, you're gone. It's not like you get a come back next week and do it. We already have someone else that is scheduled to do it. But a 10-minute showcase, and you talk about your family, your why you're doing this business, what would be a good referral? Like, you get 10 minutes to talk about whatever you want. It's crazy that, after that showcase is what leads to, after that 9 a.m. meeting, everyone's like, people are in line sometimes to talk about their showcase because we want to know how we can help them. And after their showcase, I always end with, what can we do for you right now to help impact your business? And what do those steps look like? And then they'll say that, and then we'll end, and then we'll transition into our next piece.
Okay, and what's your next piece?
The next piece is a 10-minute training tidbit, and that's actually with Kelsey. And Kelsey's someone who joined our group, and she's actually a professional, like, business coach of some sort. Yep. So she's amazing. I was kind of like, the training tidbits is something I love doing, and then she showed up and did it one time. I'm like, I just got replaced. So, but again, all these, like the membership, the training tidbit, and the vice president, and then the president are all roles that are within our group, and all of them are volunteer positions. Like, no one's getting paid to do it. I got voted to be our president this year, but the past 2 years I wasn't, and then I got voted this year, and it's something I love doing, but it's a time commitment. But I know that what I'm putting into it is what, years down the road, I'll reap the benefits of those relationships. So
now, one of the easy gives that we had was, of course, we have a large office, and your networking group used our office for the first couple of years. When COVID hit, we shut down. We had no outside groups there, and you pivoted and found another place that's been great for you. Would you say that us having that on site gave you a little unfair advantage of people thinking of you more often when it came to referrals?
I would say maybe a little bit. Obviously, everyone who came into Hatch Realty saw Hatch Realty on the sign and knew what we were doing. I don't think that's changed anything for me specifically. I know the referrals have stayed the same. My follow-up's been the same. Getting coffee is a little bit harder because there's a coffee shop at our other location that's actually directly below us, which is amazing because we can, if you want a latte or something like that, you can get that before you come up to the meeting, which that's been a good thing for them because we've been able to impact their business by our members coming. So it's a win-win for everyone.
All right. Let me see if I understand this. Did we cover everything on the schedule before I move on?
Nope. So after our 10-minute showcase and our 10-minute training tidbit, our last thing is we have a 10-minute, and it's called shout out and testimony. It used to be referral and testimony time, but now it's shout outs because we just don't, if someone wants to give a referral, they'll go into details on it and we don't have time for that. So it's a shout out, and all you'll say is, hey, Kelsey, when you're talking about that training that you did, I would love for you to come do that for our business. Can I follow up with you after this real quick after the meeting? And then she'll say yes, and then that's it. So,
Okay.
and then testimonies, if you have a quick testimony, you can say that too, but it's like 10 seconds. It's, Danny, thanks for the grateful crate for Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. That's it.
Okay. Super quick. And then you wrap from there.
And then I always have like, that's about 55 minutes total, but I have a 5-minute flex time because we don't know what the transitions look like once in a while, but we always end right at 9 a.m. So.
Okay. That's really helpful, Tyler, to give that kind of framework for it. What kind of communication happens outside of that meeting? Are you guys in some sort of group chat together or a Facebook group? What does that look like?
Yep, so we have a Facebook group, which it's great. I mean, if we want to attract more members, it's good, but we already have our groups at the point where it's selfish, but I don't want any more members because we're almost too big for that hour time slot.
What do you think 20 to 25 people is about the max? 25
is the max. We actually have a wait list for a couple different industries if they want to join our group. So, I've referred them to other groups to go start, but they want to specifically be in ours. And a couple of them, you could see some turnover, but once someone's in the group and they're part of our systems, we really don't see someone leaving. So unless they're leaving town or something like that. So.
So are you guys connecting on like a group me or a WeChat or that sort of thing?
Yep, I should have said that too. We don't, Facebook kind of, but group me is our main source of communication. So when we have
some people have group me, some people have Slack, some people have Marco Polo. They're all good networks to stay in touch.
Yep, I have a group text with the other 3 leaders in the group, and then we have group me, which is we're called the Fargo Givers, and that's what our group me name is, and that's what we identify with as in Fargo. And the group me is great because we can update saying, hey, remember at 7:55, if you're not in the elevator to go up to the meeting, stay down in Thunder Coffee and just log in via Zoom. And you can still be a part of the meeting. We want you to be a part of that, and you can get a chance to do your soundbite still, but you can't be at the meeting because we need to have a hard start. And since that's happened, it's 8:45 people are up there now. So
7:45, I mean, yeah.
7:45, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty unique what you've done. And we led with telling people that you can get a bunch of business from doing this. Walk me through the progression of year 1. How much business did you pull to now? How much business are you pulling?
From the networking group?
Yeah.
The first year, I don't think I had maybe like 1 when I look back, and it was someone who was in the group. Since then, it's grown. I mean, it continues to grow, and it's just because of the amount of members that are in our group. And then obviously, if I have 25 members in our group, which we're at right now, 24, 25, depending on what happens with our voting for this 25th, if we want her to join or not. Every single one of those people are in front of 20 to 30 other people, our family members. So basically, just being ingrained in that system, I know that I'm going to get referrals from every single one of those people because they know what I'm doing to help them in their group. Even though it might not be them buying, they're going to have family members. So it's just been sporadically. I mean, this year it'll end up minimum, if I don't get at least 15 to 20, it would be kind of a rude awakening, but it's consistently like, it was 1, then 5. And then once we started growing and I started getting my business going even more, it was 15 to 20 pretty regularly now.
So you taking an hour a week, as well as maybe a little bit of prep time and some management leadership time. So can we say 2 hours a week?
Yeah, and that other hour is me listening to a leadership podcast of what I can bring to them. So yeah, I'll listen to different leadership podcasts, and it might be something that you have. It might be something that an Aaron McManus has, something like that, and I'll bring that to not only my team of 7, but I can dual that. And you'll see, if you're to look on my calendar, you'll see something at 7 a.m. that will say on the way into town, listen to this to remind you of what you're going to talk about at the beginning of the networking group. And those are just little things, and it's super easy. So.
Just look at this monetization, because it didn't happen. Your first year, you put in 2 hours a week as well, and you got nothing out of it. Now in year 4 or 5, as you find yourself, you're putting in 2 hours a week, 100 hours a year, and you're getting 20 transactions a year from this. Tyler, do you think you need to be the leader of the group in order to get that kind of result?
No, I actually prefer, I would rather be the member, like on the membership committee, to be honest. I think I would be the best person to recruit people, but I got voted to be in this position. I don't even think I'd have to be in a leadership role. I can impact that group even if I'm not in a role like that. So no, I don't think you need to be. I think you need to have the right person in that seat right away, and as you start cultivating those relationships of people who who can lead that group. If you're not there, then you can. I had full confidence that I could be gone on a random week if I'm on a vacation, but I'll still log in via Zoom. But no, I don't need to lead that group specifically for it to be successful.
Okay, but it's important to at least jump in and to get involved and to not be the silent wallflower member, but instead to be an intentional giver with what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And showing up's the biggest thing, and to make sure that if you're not the leader, if you're not, if you're not leading a certain thing, is what can you do outside of that? And for me, I noticed, hey, if I'm not speaking to the group right away, I have my soundbite time, and then how can I really get back into the business development, where I would say in my sound bites, if I didn't want to, I'd say a referral for 15 seconds, and then I'd say, hey, I noticed that there's this blue referral card that you can, a Bluetooth card that you can go up and put it next to someone's phone, and your contact information will pop up on their phone. If you want to talk about it more after this, let me know. And then I would end, and then I'd have people ask me about this card. So I'm not making any money off this Bluetooth card by either. It's a way where I know it would help this chiropractor, and he does it now where he uses this card for clients that might come in and they love it, and it's been a huge blessing to him. So
I have a question here from Boyd Rudy. Asked this. He says, what are the key business categories that have helped your group grow?
What are the key what?
The key business categories that have helped your group grow.
For me as a realtor, a loan officer was huge, because I knew I would be talking with that person.
Is your loan officer in your referral group?
Oh yeah, yep, okay. Yep. And she is by far, I spearheaded her because she's an amazing human being, but she is the hardest working loan officer I think in town. And I don't honestly get a ton of referrals from her, to be honest, but I've never had a client that's had a horrible experience. Or even a bad experience. So that was very intentional. So I have her, and then an insurance agent, an inspector, and then one of the other ones that I use a lot is the gift making basket.
She runs a company called Grateful Cratefuls, right? So it's a little wooden crate filled with nice gifts, and you use that for a lot of your clients' closings, yeah?
Yep. So for example, someone who was very new in her first year, she showed up, and all of a sudden, she showed up to Hatch Realty, dropped off a gift basket. It was her first year, hadn't sold a lot of these boxes, gift making things, these grateful cratefuls. Got her to be a part of our group. We had another guy who worked at Edward Jones who actually introduced her to someone, and then another person introduced her to someone where she could get involved with people at Stanford, at Shields, all these big industries. And now she has an unbelievable shop now on Cheyenne, and she is the center focus. If you need a gift in town, people think of Danny Gilseth. They think of this amazing human being, and she leads with her heart. And that's the reason why I was attracted to getting her to be a part of our group. Is not what she was doing with this Grateful, because I knew that was a successful idea, but I knew what we could do for her, and now everyone in our group uses her for gifts too. And yeah.
I think I have a pretty good idea, because I'm here to learn just like everybody else. I think I have a pretty good idea of how and why I need to form a networking and referral group, and understanding the nuances that go within that. One of the things, Tyler, that you have been really successful with is you've been really successful, of course, at growing Sphere business outside of just this referral group. So let me ask you, do you ask people for referrals? And if so, how do you do it?
I will ask people for referrals, but I'm not like pushy about it all. And when I ask people, it's how can I help you get into this next position? How can I help you? You know, I know we need to sell your home and what we can net you, but it's getting to that next spot, which is, I mean, I think people are attracted to sincerity and human kindness, and that's kind of the thing I want to spark. Is I want to be that person. I'm not going to ask for a ton of referrals, but it just comes organically at this point now. So, yeah.
Well, Tyler, you've done a magnificent job of growing something that I think most people covet and that they desire. And again, I'm going to say that the foundation of it is something you can't teach, because you can't teach hungry and you can't teach somebody to be likable. You either have it or you don't. And you have both those things as an insatiable work ethic as well as a likability that people are drawn to. But you've now figured out how to monetize and capitalize on that. And it's not by taking, it's by giving. And literally the name of your group is the Fargo Givers. And when you're showing up as somebody who is generous with an abundant mindset, turns out that stuff comes back to you like a boomerang. Yeah. So I want to say this, folks, this is your last call for questions. If you have them, put them in the chat box here, and Tyler and I will get to those. Janet asked a question a little different than what we're talking about here, but worth diving into. She says this is, do you have teams in other cities also? She's finding it difficult to understand how Hatch Realty is doing so many transactions in a year with such a small population, unless we're really getting a giant unfair share. And then finally, is this a result of the oil boom in North Dakota? Well, I'll start with the latter, Janet. The oil boom is 5 hours away from us. We're on the Minnesota border. 20% of our business is in Minnesota and 80 is in North Dakota. And so we are far, far away from the oil. So the oil hasn't impacted our business. The two counties that we serve as a primary are about 250,000 people. And we will do, again, we're pacing for 13 or 1,400 transactions this year in those two counties. Those two counties, we also have, we have 4 expansion markets, but we have less than 100 transactions that come from those 4 expansion markets. They're all new. We're getting them revved up. We think that that's going to be a catapult for us to really grow, is our expansion markets. But we are doing the fair lion's share. We're doing over 90% of our business in a 250,000 county area. And the way in which we're doing it is what Tyler was just alluding to is I think we are earning a reputation, and we are showing up as people that are intentionally generous and invested into our community and into our past clients. We do 55% of all of our business with Hatch Realty from Sphere, referral, and past clients. Tyler's numbers reflect that. Our company's numbers reflect that. And so while we're purchasing a lot of business and we're going after trying to earn that so that they're long time and forever clients of Hatch Realty, we are winning the relationship, and that's what we're going after, is constantly winning the relationship. All right, next question. This one's for you, Tyler. Boyd Rudy coming at us again. He found it hard to get contractors to come to an 8 a.m. meeting. Have you run into that as well? And have you thought about moving to 4 or 5 p.m.?
Super hard to get contractors to join any meeting. The biggest thing was they have to tell whoever they're working for, or if they're their own business owner, that, hey, I can be there at 9:30, but from 8 to 9, I got to be at this meeting. It's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of those guys, but any of those guys know that me personally, if we had a guy, that's one thing we haven't been able to get, someone who's a consistent handyman or contractor. I know
and you have so much business for them.
I'm going to give them at least, I have a guy making almost $4,000 off of what I'm doing this week, like from jobs that I'm helping them get. I talked with him last night at the house, and we were going over what it would look like. So, I mean, I don't know. All you got to do is show up, and it's going to be, you're going to bear the fruit. So,
yeah, they probably need to be the owner so they see the vision and understand it's going to be hard to get the guy that's swinging the hammer unless he owns that company too.
Yeah.
Good. Tyler, final takeaways, final thoughts. I'll give you the last word before we wrap.
Yeah, Yeah, and it can be something that's really time consuming. It can be something that's a pain in the butt to show up to, but I mean, it's changed my life and my business, and it's something that even if I didn't get any referrals from this group, to be honest, I would still go every single week, and because I know what I can do for others too. It's not what you get, it's what you give, and that's what the Fargo Givers base was. So
awesome. Really good stuff today, Tyler. Gang, we're going to send you, if you're watching live, we're going to send you an email with a recap. You'll get to see this again, as well as a couple of links of things that we're doing out there that I think you should jump onto. Specifically, every Monday, we do a hatch huddle from 10 to 10:45 Central Time. It's for you, your team members. You don't have to be on the team for this to be appropriate, but we are helping people to grow every week. The first month is free. After that, it's just $99. So super inexpensive, and it is a joy being with you all. So Tyler, thanks much, dude. Sure appreciate you.
yep, thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, gang. Much love.